forget to dust the chandeliers. During last week's bridge game, Mary Ann looked up and noticed the biggest cobweb that God had ever created. And that was just the fuel that she needed to start a conversation about how her Roger could afford for their girl to come out every day, while my Peter could only afford you twice a week.
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Saunders. Mary Ann Houlihan won't find a cobweb in sight during next week's bridge game.
Oh, thank you, Gladys. Oh, and Gladys, please don't forget to dust the chandeliers. Yes?
Yes, Mrs. Saunders.
Thank you.
And I'll come out and flip you. We wouldn't want you to burn to a crisp.
Jabari, there's going to be a doorbell here.
That's what it's all my cues when she say burn to a crisp.
Yes, sir.
Could we run that back, please?
Don't worry, Mrs. Sanders. I won't forget to come out.
Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed a few lines. Just completely wait.
And go.
It's all right, Mrs. Sanders. I won't forget to come out and flip you. We wouldn't want you going into a crisp.
And Gladys, don't forget, cobwebs!
Good afternoon, ma'am. May I help you?
I'm glad to see you have overcome.
I beg your pardon.
Apparently you and your family have overcome to be living in this nice house in this section of Long Island. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm not prejudiced. I just understand the limits that have been placed on colored people. I went to Vassar. Do you still go by colored? Oh, I know, it's 1973 and a lot of you colored people have chosen to become black. Black power.
Maybe you should come in from out of the heat.
Thank you. You have a very nice home.
Oh, it's more like I work here, not live.
Is that how your husband makes you feel?
No.
Are you familiar with NOW, the National Organization of Women? We are fighting for women just like you, the everyday housewife. Sure, my husband works an 8-hour day, but does he realize us women work twice as many hours? We wake up with them, cook their breakfast, see to it that the kids get off to school and he gets off to work. And that's just the start of our day, and we do that 365 days a year without any sick days or vacation time.
I do all of that.
Of course you do, and probably much more.
How many children do you and your husband have?
I am a liberated woman who refuses to be defined by the conventional standards of American marriage. But if Bobby Sweet ever wakes up the nerve to propose, I might say yes. Oh, my older sister's, she's married though. I spent the entire month of May with her and her family. Yeah. She married very well. James is a podiatrist. They have 8-year-old twin girls and a 6-year-old boy. I barely recognized my sister. She's been domesticated. She held a Tupperware party while I was there. Oh, but my sister's a Vassar woman too, though. You know, she's the entire reason I chose to attend Vassar. I always looked up to her for her independence and a strong will to do things on her own accord. Our father refused to pay her tuition if she chose to attend Vassar. She defied him.
Your sister must have been very dedicated. I'm sure it was hard to keep up a full-time job and to keep up with her studies.
Oh no, our grandfather died 2 months before tuition was due. Neither of us relied on our father to pay for our education. We were both left very large sums of money. What college did you graduate from?
Oh, I didn't go to college, ma'am. Neither my father nor my grandfather would have had the money for that. But my husband and I, we plan on sending our 2 boys to college. The best colleges we can afford.
Don't forget about your daughters. They have as much right to a college education as your sons.
I only have boys right now. I'm not inclined to try for a girl. 2 boys is enough for me. But my husband is set on trying for a girl.
Excuse me. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Barbara Elliot. I'm the assistant to the chairwoman of the Massapequa chapter of NOW.
Take it back. I was
Gotta get this.
Take it back. I was ready to go. Go.
Introduce myself.
Introduce yourself.
Please forgive me. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Barbara Elliot. I'm the assistant to the chairwoman of the Massapequa chapter of NOW.
Miss Elliot. I'm Gladys. I'm sorry. I think there's been a misunderstanding, and I'd love to explain it to you. But I've got a lot of work to get done, and Mr. Saunders only gives me 2 days to do it all. So,
Mister, your husband makes you address him as Mister. It seems I rang your doorbell just in time. You, my colored Negro sister, needs to be liberated.
I think Dr. King already did that.
Oh, Dr. King was a marvelous man. It's amazing what he did for the colored Negro black cause. Did you know him?
No, I didn't know him. Oh, but you're correct. Dr. King was a marvelous man, and he did a great deal for the Negro race.
Negro? You're still using Negro. It's very difficult not to offend. You know, Juanita Graham was one of the very few colored Negro black girls in my graduating class at Vassar. I found it very difficult to communicate with her. I never knew what to call her.
Why not just call her Juanita? Did she need to be anything else?
Gladys, my sweet soul sister, you're a gem. You're exactly what the Massapequa chapter of NOW is looking for. You're colored, Negro, black, oppressed by your husband, and you live in Massapequa.
I told
You must join our organization. Now you won't start off as the assistant to the chairwoman, but I'm sure you will move up through the ranks very quickly.
I'm not much up on this women's liberation movement. And the few times that I do see women marching up Fifth Avenue giving speeches, it's not often I see too many colored, Negro, black women.
That's exactly why we need you, Gladys. We are women first, striving to be equal in the home, striving to be equal in the workplace, and striving to be equal in the bedroom. And you won't be the only minority we have. We have a lesbian. She graduated from Sarah Lawrence.
Gladys, you forgot to come and flip me. Peter hates it when I get too dark. Oh, you have company.
Mrs. Saunders, this is Barbara Elliot. She's from the Massapequa chapter of Now. She's here to liberate you from your household work. Yeah. We were just finishing up our introductions, and I was on my way out to flip you and to let you know that you had a visitor.
Pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Elliot.
It's Ms. Elliot. I prefer not to be associated with a label that announces whether I'm married to a man or not.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Ms. Elliot. I should have assumed not.
Mrs. Saunders, are you familiar with the Massapequa chapter of Now? As the assistant to the chairwoman, I'd like to extend an invitation to our monthly meeting. Now, of course, you may bring a guest. Perhaps Gladys would like to join you.
Gladys doesn't live in Massapequa. Oh, that's so funny. Gladys, I've no idea where you live, but it's certainly not Massapequa. I think Harlem.
That's right, ma'am. Right on 125th Street.
Ms. Elliot, thank you for your invitation for liberation, but neither myself nor Gladys needs to be liberated. I, for one, don't want to work outside of the home, let alone try and fill my husband's pants. Well, and I'm sure if Gladys had a choice, she'd prefer to stay at home and raise her 2 daughters.
I have 2 boys, miss.
All this time I thought you were raising girls. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Nonetheless, you don't want to be liberated. If your husband could afford you to stay at home, you'd stay at home.
Oh, my husband rather I not work. It's one of the 2 things we ever disagree about. He believes a woman's place is in the home, but I disagree.
I knew it. I knew you were a gem.
Miss Elliot, it's not about women's liberation. It's about the future of my sons and the future of my daughter if I choose to have another. I understand you fight for equal pay, for equal work. I watch my husband fight for the same thing. He pretends he doesn't, but our checking accounts is different. I'm working to send my children to college.
Gladys, you're forgetting about my children?
I'm so sorry, ma'am. Must have let the time slip away from me.
Please show Ms. Elliot to the door. And come and flip me when you get back.
I'm so sorry. I hope you don't think I meant to mislead you. You know, it's so tough getting in a word with you. If you ask me, you don't need to be the assistant to anybody.
And if you ask me, I'd still like you to join the Massapequa chapter of Now.
But I live in Harlem, so
Not according to my information, Mrs. Saunders. You have just overcome.
Oh, that's the last line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wait, you run that back?
but
See you back 3 Lady Street?
I live in Harlem.
Not according to my information, Mrs. Saunders. You have just overcome.
The makings of you.